Well, good evening to you here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to apologize for a little bit of the late start, but my device is having a little bit of a bellyache, so I had to kind of calm it down a little bit. But I'm here now. We got a lot to talk about here in about the next half hour or so, and I'm just going to tell you guys now, it is Statement Saturday in college football. We got some big games this weekend. I'm also going to talk a little bit more in depth about the first college football playoff top 25 poll. I'm also going to address the issues at the University of Maryland and their former head football coach DJ Durkin and what led to his firing. We're also going to have a lot to talk about. And for my closing thoughts, I'm going to talk about the Ohio University Bobcats as they become bowl eligible for the 10th straight year. My congratulations to them on that. But we're going to go right into the show. We got a lot to talk about. So right now, let's get started. Let's have a great show, and we're going to have a great time tonight, and hopefully everything will go well here this evening. So let's get on the road. Now, the Ohio State Buckeyes do have a statement to make after getting their doors blown off by Purdue 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago out in West Lafayette, they basically got humiliated. That's all there is to it. And the bottom line is, everybody says that Ohio State needs to come back. There's a lot of things they need to work on. Their defense, for one thing. And don't give me the Chris Bosa excuse. Chase Young, Draymond Jones, and the rest of the Ohio State defense just got exploited last 2 weeks ago against Purdue. The bye week came at just the right time for the Buckeyes to come back. And despite all the health problems that Ohio State coach Urban Meyers had, he said this at a press conference. He said, I'm going to stick around Ohio State as long as I can. I'm not leaving the program. And my thing is, if we can't do anything better, and that's all there is to it. I am staying at Ohio State. I don't care what anybody... All right. Now Ohio State Urban Meyer is staying around at Ohio State. And that's all there is to it. And he's made himself crystal clear on that. Come on. There. Now we're back. All right. Now, Urban Meyer's already said he's staying at Ohio State. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But my thing is, if Urban Meyer's going to stick around, he's got to address his health issues. He's been having problems with headaches. He's got a cyst disease. He's already said he's staying. But there's a few other things that Ohio State needs to work on. Number one, they got to learn how to run the ball. And Dwayne Haskins has got to learn how to run. He just can't throw it all the time. He can't throw the ball 72 times and expect to win a ball game. Here's a case in point. Both J.K. Dobbins and Mike Weber have only rushed for 100 yards only once this season. That's not good. But Dwayne Haskins has completed 71.1% of his passes, and he has 30 touchdown passes this season. And in the last 2 years, Ohio State's blown Nebraska's doors off 118-17 in the previous two meetings. Nebraska coach Scott Frost has said, well, our guys are got to be confident. Maybe we can pull off the upset of the year. We don't know. But my thing is, if we can't play any better than what we saw Saturday, and what Ohio State did, we have a chance. Well, I'm going to say this for Coach Scott Frost. You guys are struggling yourselves this season. There's nothing you can do. However, Ohio State, I don't know how much the point spread is and all that. I don't know. But it's a new kickoff on Fox, which is a good thing. Because we can get the Buckeyes out of the way and we can get right on to the rest of Statement Saturday. Because we got a lot of other big games this week. But in the meantime, Urban Meyer, you guys got to work on some things. There's a lot of things you guys got to work on. But my thing is, Dwayne Haskins, you got to run the ball. You just can't throw it. It doesn't work that way. And the bottom line is, if you guys want to win the Big Ten, you're going to need some help. And that's all there is to it. All right. Game number one on the Statement Saturday roster. Now, let's move on to another ball game. Number 5, Michigan. Number 14, Penn State. The battle of the day in the Big Ten. Now, Michigan they got a statement to make. They got a big statement to make. They need to make a statement against Penn State, and this would be a good start for them. And because they absolutely do think they belong in the top 4 in the college football playoff. And the way they played this season, I've got to go along with that. Because let's think about this. Shea Patterson, one of the best quarterbacks. He's thrown for over 1,500 yards this season. Karan Higdon, the new big man on campus at Michigan. And, of course, they got Zach Gentry, one of the best wide receivers. And I'm going to tell you something. Jim Harbaugh said, we're on the revenge tour. Our revenge tour continues. But I'm going to tell you this. Our team is playing much better than they have in the past. And Harbaugh's right. Despite the loss to Notre Dame to open the season, everybody was thinking, Michigan's going to have a mediocre season. Wrong. They've already exceeded my expectations already. They beat Wisconsin. They beat Michigan State. If they can check off Penn State, they've got it. But Penn State coach James Franklin said, our guys are going to try to stay with it. Our guys are ready to play, like they are every Saturday. I tell them take one game at a time. We still have a shot at winning the Big Ten East. We still have a shot at getting there. But right now, Michigan is in the drive, and James Franklin's already conceded that Michigan is in the driver's seat, and he's right. I'm not going to take that away from him. But let's think about this for a minute. Trace McSorley, over 1,628 yards passing this season. Miles Sanders, he's rushed for over 800 yards himself. And KJ Hamler, he's got 497 yards receiving this season. This game, this is the biggie out of the Big Ten. This is the biggest game of the day out of the Big Ten. And it's also, and a lot of people have questioned me and saying, do you think this one's got Big Ten heavyweight championship fight written all over it? And I've been asked that a few times this week. I said, and this is what I've said, whoever wins, wins. Because I'll tell you right now, everybody realizes that the Big Ten East is up for grabs. We technically do have a 3-team race for the Big Ten East. Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. One of those three could possibly win the Big Ten championship, win the Big Ten East. But I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be very interesting to see how things go all the way to the close of the season. But the bottom line is, I feel good about Ohio State's chance, about Michigan's chances of winning on Saturday. As much as I hate to say it, and you know how I hate Harbaugh with a pea-purple passion, I proudly admit it. But I will say this. Michigan is playing much better than they have in the last few years. Has Shea Patterson and Karan Higdon been the answers that Harbaugh's been looking for? So far, the answer has been yes. And it's been proven. And this is part of the reason why. This game is going to be the biggest one of the weekend in the Big Ten. All right, enough talk about, all right, we've talked about Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Now, we've talked about some Big Ten. We'll come back to the Big Ten here in a few minutes. But for the moment, let's head down south, down to the SEC. Number 6, Georgia. Number 9, Kentucky. This game right here this is a game that has heavyweight championship fight written all over it. The SEC East heavyweight championship will be decided tomorrow in Lexington. And it's official. The winner of this one wins the East and will be playing in the SEC championship game in December. Number 6, Georgia. Number 9, Kentucky. If somebody would have told me that the Kentucky Wildcats, a basketball school, would have been this good in football, I would have said, I got some swampland in Florida to sell you. But it is what it is. Think about this for a minute. When Kentucky shocked everybody, and there's been a lot of talk about the Kentucky Wildcats and their football program. When they got into the top 25 a few weeks ago, I'm thinking, they're in the top 25. They probably won't last long. Boy, I was dead wrong. And I think the rest of the nation was too. Because I'm going to tell you this. Kentucky's really impressed me. And even Georgia coach Kirby Smart has said, Kentucky's got a great football team. And I'm really impressed with what Coach Mark Stoops has done with his program. He's turned the football program around down in Lexington. And I'm really impressed with him. And I'll tell you right now, they got a great quarterback, Terry Wilson. They got Benny Snell, one of the best runners. And they got Lynn Bowden Jr. He can do a lot of damage with the football, man. And I'm worried. But our guys will be ready. And you can go to the bank with that. All right. And now, as for Kentucky coach Mark Stoops says, we're just going to treat it as another game. That's all we can do. Whatever happens, happens. Georgia's got a fantastic quarterback in Jake Fromm. They got Riley Ridley. And they also got Elijah Holyfield and DeAndre Swift running at wide receiver. They're going to be sharing the duties too. Because keep in mind, Georgia has an extra weapon. They got Jake Fromm, Riley Ridley. They got Elijah Holyfield. However, they also do have DeAndre Swift. That's the biggie. This is the biggest game right here, folks. And for Kentucky, they got Terry Wilson, Benny Snell, Lynn Bowden Jr. This game, the Georgia-Kentucky contest, is going to be the biggest contest of the year in college football. And I'm going to say this now. Someone said that this game wouldn't mean much of anything. I'm going to tell you right now. This game has got SEC, the SEC East. As far as the SEC East goes, this is for the heavyweight championship right here. This has got championship fight written all over it. Because think about it. Where can you go wrong? I mean, you got Terry Wilson, Jake Fromm, but I'll tell you one thing, and I'll give both coaches credit. They showed respect Kirby Smart said a lot of nice things about Mark Stoops in the football program, and Mark Stoops returned the favor. But we'll see what happens on Saturday at 3:30 on CBS. Because this one's going to be fun. This is going to be the biggest game right here. The winner of this, one more time, the winner of this game will win the SEC East. That's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. The championship of the SEC East is up for grabs. And the game is in Lexington, but Georgia is a 9-point favorite. There's something to think about there, too. And there's a lot at stake in this ball game. And that's all I'm going to say right now, and I'm not going to go any further at the moment. All right. Now we're going to come back to the SEC. We're going to talk about the SEC West here in a few minutes. I'll get to that. Don't worry. However, we got another championship fight possibly on Statement Saturday. This one out of the Big 12. Number 13 West Virginia, number 17 Texas, 3:30 on Fox. The game is in Austin. And as it stands right now, Texas is a 2-point favorite. The over-under is 58. And I've looked at the Football Power Index, people. This game, if it was an election year, would this be an election year? The midterms coming up? If it was a Democrat versus a Republican, West Virginia being the Democrat, Texas being the Republican, this game is a toss-up. It's a 50-50 split. And I'm not lying. I mean, slight edge to Texas. Very, very slight edge to the Texas Longhorns. The game is in Austin. West Virginia coach Dana Holgrenson has said, our guys are going to be ready for the battle down in Austin this weekend. I mean, Texas has got a. He's even said Texas quarterback Sam Ehlinger has been very fantastic, and he also got Keontae Ingram. He can really run the ball. And that worries me a little bit. But let's think about this one. Sam Ehlinger, he's also got his buddy Little Jordan Humphrey, and yes, his name is Lil Jordan. It's a brothers thing. I'm not going to go any further than that. But Texas coach Tom Herman, he's also said we'll be ready for West Virginia. It doesn't get any easier for us. Last Saturday, Texas got beat by Oklahoma State, and there was nearly fireworks at the end of that game because Herman he also even thought Mike Gundy was going to come out and cause a fight. But that didn't happen. But anyway, Texas coach Tom Herman said, we're ready for this game on Saturday against West Virginia. That's all there is to it. Our guys are ready. I mean, they got Will Grier, David Sills. We can do a lot of damage there, and they also got Kennedy McCoy. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be one game that everybody's been looking at all week. We've had this game circled on the calendar. With this being November, anything can happen, and it usually does. I mean, we're in a battle for the Big 12 here. And that's all there is to it. Well, my reaction to the whole thing is there's a battle for the Big 12 crown. The Big 12 championship, there's a lot at stake. If Texas beats West Virginia, it's almost case closed. Texas is going to win the Big 12. If West Virginia wins on Saturday, the Big 12 race is going to be thrown upside down. And don't forget about Oklahoma. And I'm going to talk about Oklahoma here in a few minutes. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, this game, the Texas-West Virginia shootout, it's over-unders 58. This game is going to be a gut check. And this game also has heavyweight championship fight written all over it. This is almost a title fight. And it's going to be a battle down in Austin. And again, let me tell you, folks, this game is going to be fun. I mean, let's think about it. Texas. Sam Ehlinger, his buddy Little Jordan Humphrey, the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the Big 12. But you also got Will Grier and David Sills, two of the best quarterback wide receiver combos in the Big 12 are going to be going at it Saturday. But also, too, think about this. November 23rd. I mentioned this because Oklahoma faces West Virginia on a Friday night. So there's a lot to think about there, too. And I'm going to say this now. If they can survive this game, anything can happen. If Texas wins, it's almost case closed. If West Virginia wins it, November 23rd it's going to be like another world title fight, only bigger. And that's all there is to it. Okay. Now, we've gone from the Big 10 to the SEC to the Big 12. Now we're going back to the Big 10. And let me explain what's going on. Number 4 Notre Dame versus Northwestern. The reason why I'm talking about the Notre Dame-Northwestern game is because a lot of people have said, don't take the Wildcats lightly. Don't let the 4-3 record overall fool you. Northwestern has won their last 12 of its past 13 games in the Big 10. Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly has said, I'm thinking about Northwestern. I'm not thinking about the college football playoff rankings. We're just going to take this game. We're just going to take this one game at a time. And that's all we can do. And I'm going to say this now. Our guys are ready, and I've shown a lot of love to my guys. And they've been playing hard. Northwestern, they can jump out at you. They've done it before. Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald has said, we're at the top of the Big 10 West. Although, I think we should have been in the top 25. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But I'm going to say this. This is going to be a very interesting game, and let's see what we can do. And the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very interesting what happens on Saturday. All right. Let's think about the players to watch on my watch list. For Notre Dame, Ian Book, one of the best quarterbacks that Notre Dame's had in a long time. Dexter Williams, one of the best running backs that Notre Dame's had in a long time. And Miles Boykin, he's a wide receiver that can get nasty. For Northwestern, quarterback Clayton Thorson. I gave him a game ball after the Wisconsin game last week. Jeremy Larkin, he's another one to look out for on the running back side. And Flynn Nagel, the best wide receiver that Northwestern has. Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald said, we're at the top of the Big 10 West, and we're planning on staying there. If we can knock off Notre Dame, we can really play the role of spoiler. And I'll tell you right now, there's one stat that's got the attention of Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly, and I've already said it, but if you're just joining me, here it is. Northwestern has won 12 of its past 13 games in the Big 10. Now, Northwestern, don't let the 5-3 record fool you. They're a great football team. 3 of their losses were non-conference losses. They do well in the Big 10, but when they go outside the Big 10, they flop. And if Northwestern can win the Big 10 West and play for the Big 10 championship, they can really, really spoil the party for somebody. And my thing is, this game, everybody's thinking this game's going to be a blowout. Remember a few years ago in South Bend when Northwestern pulled out the upset over Notre Dame 43-40? Notre Dame hasn't forgotten. None of the fans, the student body, none of the fans have forgotten, and none of the student body hasn't forgotten about it. But I'm going to say this now. Northwestern wins the Big 10 West. It's going to be something. That's going to be a celebration in itself. The Wildcats winning the Big 10 West, that would be very pretty. And I'm going to say this now, ladies and gentlemen. Look out. Tomorrow night at 7:15 on ESPN. The game is in Evanston, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Don't take the Wildcats lightly. The Wisconsin Badgers had to learn that the hard way. All right. The last game I want to talk about, you know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. The big one. The battle for the SEC West. The SEC West Heavyweight Championship is going to be on the line in Baton Rouge in the Swamp in Death Valley. Number 1, Alabama. Number 3, LSU. This game is so big. It's been hyped up nobody expected LSU to be where they're at right now. When the season started, they were right at number 25, barely clinging on to the top 25. Then after some big upsets along the way, and despite the loss to Florida, the LSU Tigers are right there, ready to pounce. Alabama head coach Nick Saban said, this is going to be the biggest game of the year. This is going to be our toughest challenge. And I'm going to tell you right now, our guys are going to be ready to go. LSU coach Ed Orgeron has even said, look out, because the game's in the swamp. And anything can happen, and it usually does. And surprisingly, Alabama is a 15-point favorite, and the over-under is 54. Yes, I said it. Alabama is a 15-point favorite against LSU on the road. That's big. But let me say this right now. It doesn't matter who the favorite is. It does not matter. But I'll say this right now. The winner of this game, forget the SEC West. The winner of this game will possibly be in the driver's seat to be in the college football playoff. That's all there is to it. And I'm going to say, and look at, and then you think about the matchup. I mean, look, LSU, you got Joe Burrow, Nick Brissett, Justin Jefferson. Those three names, I've already given those three names, those guys game balls already. For Alabama, you got Tua Tagovailoa, Najee Harris, and then Jerry Jeudy. And also, too, think about this one. Alabama has averaged 54 points a game. They haven't had a real challenge at all this season. This season for the Crimson Tide has been a cakewalk. But the game in the swamp on Saturday night is not going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be a battle all the way to the end. So whoever says that Alabama's a 15-point favorite, I cannot go along with Vegas on this one. I disagree with Las Vegas. Okay, yes, I grant you, Alabama's averaging 54 points a game and over 500 yards off, 500 to 600 yards offense for the game. I'll give you that. However, the game is in the swamp. The game is in Baton Rouge, in Death Valley, in the swamp on Saturday night. This is an 8 o'clock special on CBS. This is a big one. The biggest game of the year. And forget the SEC West. The winner of this one's possibly going to be in the driver's seat to be in the college football playoff. Bottom line. And I'm going to say this now. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. But let's think about it for a minute. Joe Burrow, the former Ohio State transfer who came down here to LSU, has really surprised everybody down in Baton Rouge. Tua Tagovailoa has been very impressive too for Alabama. This game is going to be decided by who the team who wants it the most. And my thing is, whoever can take this game, whoever wins this game is really going to prove its worth. If Alabama wins, they win the SEC West. If LSU wins, look out, because they still got to face Auburn. And Auburn has had some struggles this season. Bottom line. There's not much more hype you can do. This game's already been hyped up. But let's see what happens on Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Yes, Bama's a 15-point favorite, but the game is in Death Valley. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. All right. Now, what I want to go ahead and do for a few minutes, and I want to talk about the top 25 poll for just a few minutes. As it stands right now, number 25 Virginia is losing 23-13 to Pitt. And as soon as that game goes final, I will let you know. At number 24, we have Iowa State. Fresno State at 23. Boston College 22. NC State 21. Texas A&M 20. Syracuse 19. Mississippi State 18. Texas 17. They got to face West Virginia on Saturday. I've already talked about that game. Iowa comes in at 16. Utah 15. Penn State 14. They got to face number 5 Michigan on Saturday. And I've already talked about number 13 West Virginia. Central Florida at number 12. They're going to move up after that big victory over Temple Thursday night, 52-40. Number 11 Florida. Number 10 Ohio State. They're playing Nebraska. And of course you got Georgia playing number 6 Georgia facing number 9 Kentucky tomorrow. Washington State. They got to face Cal tomorrow night at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course you got Oklahoma, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson, Alabama. Let's think about this for a minute. Washington State. They're in the driver's seat to win the Pac-12 right now. The only two teams out of the Pac-12 that are in the top 25 is number 8 Washington State, number 15 Utah. But let me say this. This is going to be an interesting game on Saturday night between Washington State and Cal. Cal upset Washington, knocking right out of the top 25. You know, when the season started, everybody was thinking, oh, it's going to be Oregon, Stanford, Washington, USC, possibly one of the Pac-12. Guess what? All four of those teams, they're not in the top 25. But look who is in the top 25. Washington State and Utah. And if everything pans out correctly, and if anything pans out, possibly Washington State could get a top 4 spot before it's all said and done. Don't take the Washington State Cougars lightly. Gardner Minshew, he's really impressed me this season, and I'm not an easy guy to impress. But I'll be honest with you. If anybody thinks that Washington State could be in the top 20, could be a top 4 team, it's going to be interesting to see what happens from there. And the bottom line is, don't take the Washington State Cougars lightly. Don't take the Utah Utes lightly either. They really surprised me. Let's talk about Central Florida. Last year's uncrowned national champions. They're all saying, the student body, the team, the student body, the alumni, they're all saying, we want Bama. UCF wants Alabama. And I'll tell you right now, if you think about this for just a minute, the only challengers left for Alabama, I would have said Ohio State, but after they got their doors blown off by Purdue, I'm not so sure now. Is there anybody who could challenge Purdue? Maybe Central Florida. Yes, I know Central Florida is not in a Power 5 conference. I grant you. But Central Florida could really give Alabama a run for their money. Think about it for a minute. They may be a small school, but don't let the small status, don't let the group of 5 schools fool you. I've seen stranger things happen. Remember Appalachian State when they were an FCS school? Remember they were a smaller school and they were the David that knocked off the Goliath in Michigan some 10 years ago? Just to give you an idea. Old Dominion, when they knocked off Virginia Tech, they got their first win of the season against the Virginia Tech Hokies. Anything can happen, and it usually does. But now let's talk about the Big Ten for a minute. The only teams in the top 25 are Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, and that's it out of the Big Ten. Michigan is knocking on the door of being in the top 4 and being in the college football playoff. If Alabama beats LSU, they're in. Even if Northwestern knocks off Notre Dame, they may get in. Michigan may get in, despite losing to them when the season started. So there's a lot to think about there. And anything can happen. And it usually does. Out of the Big 12, let's think about the Big 12 here for a minute. Now, Texas, West Virginia, they face off. You got Sam Ehlinger and little Jordan Humphrey versus Will Grier and David Sills. A lot on the line there. But let's think about Oklahoma. They face Texas Tech on Saturday night. Could Texas Tech figure into this whole mess? It could happen. But let's think about this. You got Kyler Murray and Hollywood Marquise Brown. Everybody calls him Hollywood. Well, let me tell you something. Hollywood Brown better step up. Or otherwise, Oklahoma's chances of being in the winning the Big 12 and possibly getting a college football playoff spot can go up in smoke. Now, Oklahoma faces Texas Tech. But keep this in mind. On November 23rd, on a Friday night, West Virginia faces Oklahoma, and the Big 12 is nowhere near decided. Texas has a victory over Oklahoma, so Texas has to beat West Virginia to have any shot to win the Big 12. If West Virginia beats Texas, the Big 12 is going to be thrown upside down. And I said it earlier in the show. The Texas-West Virginia game is a toss-up. It's a 50-50 split, and Texas is only a 2-point favorite on Saturday afternoon. And that's all there is to it. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, that's the top 25 of what I wanted to talk about. Now, this situation with the University of Maryland, it's going to get addressed right here and tonight. As all of you know by now, Maryland football coach DJ Durkin was fired one day after being reinstated. This all centers around the death of Jordan McNair. Excuse me. There. Let me try it again. Maryland coach DJ Durkin was fired one day after his reinstatement. He went 10-15 in his 2 seasons at the University of Maryland. Matt Canada is going to remain on as interim head coach. Now here's the timeline of what happened and how this whole thing started. It all started back about late May during a football camp outside. Jordan McNair became ill and had heat exhaustion. He suffered heat exhaustion and he died on June 13th. And President Wallace D. Lowe has said, we're going to investigate this fully. And the Board of Regents has decided that DJ Durkin had to go. Wallace Lowe rehired him. And then after that, McNair's father said that was a slap in the face. And it is draw criticism. It draw tons of criticism. It got so bad that Wallace D. Lowe is going to be retiring at the end of the school year from the University of Maryland. He's going to be retiring. The decision to bring back DJ Durkin as head football coach drew criticism from the players, the student body, even politicians are even weighing in. Even Maryland Governor Larry Hogan even said, I'm very worried. Yeah, I think this is a very stupid move on his part. And Wallace D. Lowe is going to be resigned. He's going to be retiring at the end of the year. One of the members of the Board of Regents resigned after this decision to bring back DJ Durkin. If anything, Durkin should be in jail for something, even manslaughter, if you ask me. The University of Maryland, in my opinion, when they brought Durkin back, after this whole thing, after the death was caused by heat exhaustion, they want to bring him back. The University of Maryland was the one that dropped the ball. And Wallace D. Lowe had to do an about face to save his hide. That's exactly what he did. And I'm going to tell you this right now. DJ Durkin, you should be ashamed of yourself for all the grief that you caused the McNair family. Jordan McNair would be alive right now with his family if it wasn't for you. I solely blame you and the coaching staff for everything you caused. There was issues with bullying and taking away food. You don't do that. You don't intimidate somebody like that. How would you feel if somebody intimidated you? You wouldn't feel so good. Durkin should have been fired. He should have been arrested and charged with at least manslaughter, if you ask me. But I'm going to say this. You know it's bad at a school like Maryland. You know it's bad when the student body goes to the administrative building and protests on the steps. And you know it's really, really bad when the Board of Regents says don't bring them back in the wall, and the university president brings them back anyway. And you know it's really, really bad when the governor of Maryland makes a statement on this whole thing. I mean, you got politicians getting involved. Governor Larry Hogan getting involved. Members of the McNair family. They took it as a slap in the face when President Wallace D. Lowe decided to bring Durkin back. And the players themselves are like, we don't want him. We do not want him. He's a bully. We don't want him. The Board of Regents felt the same way that players did. Nobody wouldn't listen. It took the death of an offensive lineman for the University of Maryland to listen to the players' concerns. That sickens me. DJ Durkin should have been fired. He should be ashamed of himself, and he should be sitting behind bars for manslaughter, if you ask me. And I'm trying to keep my composure, but I just can't. I just can't keep my composure because I feel the same way the student body at the University of Maryland does. When I saw the story, they said they're going to bring him back. I'm like, Wallace Lowe, you just sold your soul. You sold out. You sold your soul to the devil. And DJ Durkin, you're asking for an assassination attempt. And yes, I said it. Wallace D. Lowe sold out. He sold out the student body. He sold out the football team. He sold out the McNair family. The McNair family, and I agree with the McNairs. They said this is a slap in the face and a punch in the stomach to bring back DJ Durkin. He gets reinstated, then he gets fired. The only reason why Wallace D. Lowell fired DJ Durkin was to save his own hide. And I'm going to say this now. I hope this from the sincerity of my heart. I really hope that things do improve at the University of Maryland. And my prayers go out to the McNair family for the loss they have suffered at the hands of this bully. And DJ Durkin, you are a bully. You're a bully, and that's all there is to it. My prayers go out to the McNair family for the loss that they've had to endure and for everything they've had to go through at the hands of a coach that was supposed to care about these kids. He used intimidation, bullying, and antics that make me sick to even be associated with college football. And the Maryland alumni, to the student body, I applaud you for doing the right thing, protesting the rehiring of DJ Durkin. And Wallace D. Lowell, when you retire, you're going to have this is going to hang on you for the longest time. You brought back a guy who was a bully and possibly a murderer. That's exactly what you did. And the only reason why you did it in an about face and got rid of him was to save your own hide. That's all you did. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to go any further on this because I may say something that I won't regret. But Wallace D. Lowell, the president and the president of the University of Maryland, you, sir, are shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself for making the decision to bring back a jerk, and that's all you basically did. And I'm not going to talk about it any further. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I've already ranted about DJ Durkin, but I'm going to close this show out on a high note. To close it out, I'm going to talk about the Ohio University Bobcats. The Bobcats out of the Mid-America Conference. They got a win over Western Michigan last night 59-14. And the Ohio University Bobcats, for the 10th straight year, are now bowl eligible. They are eligible to go to a bowl game for the 10th straight year. My congratulations to Frank Solich and his group on a job well done. I saw the Bobcats play back on homecoming weekend. When they took care of business, 49-14, it was a great day to be had. And I'm going to say this to you. The Bobcats I'm going to say this. The Bobcats, in my opinion, are going to win the MAC. They're going to win the Mid-America Conference. They're the favorites to win the MAC East. And I've got them winning the Mid-America Conference. And they are going to a bowl game. There's nothing you can say about that. So once again, my congratulations to Frank Solich and his group on a job well done this season. And I'm going to say this now from the sincerity of my heart. I wish the Bobcats nothing but the best of luck. They're a great football team. I know that's the Mid-America Conference, and they're not a Power 5. But deep down inside, they're a Power 5 in the minds of everybody down in beautiful Athens, Ohio. And I've been down to Athens on a homecoming weekend, and it's the place to be. It could be a party town USA. On homecoming, they know how to party. And the Bobcats are never to be ever to be taken lightly. And I'm going to say this now. Frank Solich, you are a great football coach, sir. And you've earned the right, and you've really turned that team around. You picked up your 100th win. You joined Don Beaton and Bill Hess as the only two coaches ever to win 100 games at Ohio University. And you have earned that accomplishment, sir. And I'm very proud of you, and you've earned that accomplishment. So for that, congratulations. And I'm going to give a special game ball to the Ohio University Bobcats. Not just one person, not just Coach Solich. I'm talking about the players, the coaching staff, the university, for backing the Ohio University Bobcats en route to a MAC championship. Good luck to you guys. I hope you guys win the MAC. And good luck whatever bowl game you go to. I wish you the best of luck. And thank you so much for bringing that. Thank you so much for having a lot of fun. It's been a great season watching you guys play, and I'm very proud of you. and you guys have earned it. And that's all I'm going to say tonight. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. I will be back tomorrow night at 11:30 or possibly midnight, depending on how these games go. It is Statement Saturday in college football. I may be about midnight, 12:30. Probably 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning when I'm back on the air. Because there's going to be a lot of throwdown games. There's just way too much at stake tomorrow on Statement Saturday. It's going to be statements will be made. There will be winners and losers, but the main thing is statements will be made tomorrow on who belongs where. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's some big battles going on, and we got some battles that got heavyweight championship fight written all over it. And I'm going to tell you now, however the chips fall, they fall. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. And I'm going to say to all these teams, from Ohio State, Nebraska, to Michigan, Penn State. Hey, what's up, my friend? I know it's a little late. I'm about to close the show, but I'm glad to have you with me. And it's also well, thank you. Please, if you can, subscribe to my channel. It's all right. Thank you. I appreciate those comments. And I'm going to stay on here. Yeah, I'm from the Columbus, Ohio area. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to stay on here for a little bit. I'm not promoting anything. I just do a podcast show. I just do this as a sideline. That's all I'm not promoting anything. I'm just doing this as a sideline. But you know what? I'm going to stay on here for a little bit longer. Because you know what? I was going to wrap it up. You're about to get famous. Hey, if you got some more friends, you can subscribe to my channel. Feel free, help me out. All right. I'm getting more subscribers. I know I'm about to end the show, but I'm probably going to stay here for a little bit longer. You know what? Everybody's been talking about I only get a handful of subscribers. I'm not a very big person. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, what's going on? How have you guys been? Oh, no, not much. Not much is going on right now. But I will say this, though. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Montgomery Jenkins. Thank you for the comments. Thank you guys so much. But you know something? I'm feeling much better. Because you know what? It is Statement Saturday in college football. I'm not promoting anything. But you know what? I'm going to step back and I'm going to ask you guys some questions. And you know what? Well, thank you. Hey, thank you guys so much for being. Thank you. Thank you for all these comments. You know what? I'm going to stay here a little bit longer. I'm going to stay on the air for a little bit. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much for all these comments. I really do appreciate them. Hey, thank you. You know what? Please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to me, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for all these comments. You know what? Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's play up or down. I wasn't going to do the up or down segment, but due to so many people tuning in tonight, let's play up or down. Yes, I got viewers from Pompano Beach, Florida, all over the country. Please subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate it. You know what? I'm going to stay here for a little while longer. We're going to play a game. Let's play a game of up or down. It's very simple. I'm going to ask a question. Either you guys can vote up or you vote down. How's that sound? Since you guys are going to be here for a little while? Well, thank you. Wow, this is going to be great. I was about to close the show, but I'm probably going to be here for a little while longer. All right, let's play a little game. It's called Up or Down. Here's the first question. The Michigan Wolverines will be in the college football playoff at the end of the season. Do you vote? All right, you guys in? All right, let's do this. All right, let's do it. I'm going to ask the question. I'm not playing this as a contest. This is just for fun. It's not a contest. It's a very, very simple game. It's either vote up or down. I'll ask the question. The Michigan Wolverines will be in the college football playoff at the end of the season. Do you vote up or do you vote down? I'm going to have to vote up on that one because here's why. Michigan's got a football. We got some guys that are going to vote down. Okay. I'm going to vote up because it's very simple. Michigan's got one whale of a football team. They got a defense. They got a running back, Karan Higdon. He's the new big man on campus at the University of Michigan. That's all there is to it. All right, the next question. The Washington State Cougars. The Cougars win the Pac-12 and get into the college football playoff. Do you vote up or do you vote down? I hate to upset my Pac-12 viewers, but I got to vote that one down. Because not to take anything away from Gardner Minshew. He's a great player. He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. But there's way too many strong teams. We got Oklahoma out of the Big 12. You know that you got Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown. Or Hollywood Brown, I should say. That's what he likes to call himself now. Let's try this one. UCF. They will finish the season undefeated, and they will get a New Year's Six bowl. Do you vote up or do you vote down? You know what? I'm going to vote that one up. Because if you think about it, UCF, everybody's been overlooking them. Everybody has overlooked UCF. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, Central Florida, they're in a much better position than they were, about 12 weeks ago. Oh, come on, man. Now, think about this a minute. Central Florida, everybody's saying that they want Bama. And last year, they were the 2017 uncrowned national champions, in my opinion. But I'm going to say this. UCF should at least they won Alabama. If they finish the season undefeated, it's going to be something else to think about. But the bottom line is, I think Central Florida should at least get a shot at a New Year's Six bowl. Well, thank you, guys. You know what? I mean, I was this close to closing out the show, then you guys show up. All right. Let's think about West Virginia, Texas. Texas beats West Virginia in a close game and takes the Big 12 this Saturday. Do you vote up or do you vote down? I'm going to vote that one up because Texas, I'm not saying anything about Tom. No, I'm not thinking about Trump here, guys. All right, hold on here. I'm going to vote that one up. I'm voting this one up for one reason. Number one, Texas is a great, not to take anything away from West Virginia, but Texas has a stronger quarterback. They got Sam Ehlinger. They got little Jordan Humphrey. And with the game, actually, I vote Trump down, by the way. Anyway, I shouldn't say, I'm trying not to get politically involved in this. I am not a politics person. I don't believe in politics. It's a waste of my time. I don't like mixing politics with sports. You don't do that. But anyway, Texas, West Virginia. Not to take anything away from West Virginia, but Texas is a much better football team. Texas can get the job done. They got little Jordan Humphrey. They got Sam Ehlinger. Not to take anything away from Will Grier and David Sills. But I will say this in all fairness. This is going to be a very interesting weekend in college football. That's all there is to it. And you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm only going to be here for another few more minutes because I got to think. I'm only going to be here for a couple more minutes because I got to get to bed. I got things to do in the morning. And that's all there is to it. But I'm going to be honest with you. It is Statement Saturday in college football, everybody. We got some big games. We got West Virginia. We got West Virginia versus Texas. And also, too, we've got a lot to talk about. We got Georgia, Kentucky. That's got heavyweight championship fight written all over it. That's got... Well, thank you guys so much. I want to thank every single one of you guys for tuning in tonight. This means a lot to me. I'm just a small-time guy. I am executive producer, host, director, everything. I don't have a big crew. I'm just a one-man show. Thank you. Commentary's off the top of the charts. Thank you guys so much. You guys are really... Thank you guys so much. Now, I'm not going to run for president in 2020, guys. Forget that. I am not running for president of the United States. I don't have the time for that. Well, thank you for the love, guys. But thank you, guys. But I'll tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I got to go to bed here in about 5-10 minutes because I have other things to do in the morning. I really do. because tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m., I've got a Facebook show to get ready for. Thank you, and thank you guys so much for being with me tonight. You guys really know how to. You guys really cheered me up in the last few minutes. If you didn't get a chance to see the whole show, it's going to be available on my YouTube channel. I will also post it on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So you'll have plenty of chances to see this show. Well, thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. I am going to go ahead. I hate to disrupt you guys. I hate to interrupt the fun, but I've got to get out of here. I got to get out of here tonight, and you guys have a great night. I got a Facebook show I got to get ready for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and if you could tune into that, that'd be wonderful. My name is Scott Manning. Just look for this pretty face. Please add me as your friend, and I'll be more than happy to include you on my friends list. Well, thank you guys so much. And good night to all of you guys, and thank you so much for the compliments. This means a lot to me. And you guys just make my day, and it makes my job easier. I will see you tomorrow night, possibly, but I'm going to warn you ahead. It may be about 12:30, maybe about midnight 12:30 before I go on the air. Because it's Statement Saturday. There's too many games that have heavyweight championship fight written all over it. I'm going to warn you up front because you guys are really going to make it my day. And thank you guys so much for the comments. You guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for what I do. I do this, and basically this is just a hobby. I do this as a sideline, and thank you guys so much for the compliments. You guys have a great night. I will see you at about 11:30 midnight, but it may be possibly 12:30 before I go on the air. And that's all there is to it. Thank you so much for being with me. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much. Please leave your comments. I'm about to go off the air, but you can leave your comments, and that'd be wonderful. And thank you so much for being with me from the bottom of my heart. This means a lot to me. Good night, guys. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. You guys have a great night, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and thank you.